This is the Canon 200D. Not really an ideal camera for sports photography, but this is the current setup that I have. So, we will try to answer if pwede ba gamiton ang 200D Mark 1 for sports photography. So, this is just last afternoon sa local football game. With the setting, naka-auto ang ISO. Ang f-stop, naka-auto. Ang manual lang ako dre is ang shutter speed. I went with 500 of a second because I wanted to have motion blur pod gamay, not totally freeze the pictures because I need blur to emphasize movement. So, mauna akong setting. I could easily go to 1,000 or 1,200, but for me that is too much because I am also looking for blur sa movement sa subject. So, this is the first picture taken in RAW. Nag-custom white balance ko sa 200D. RAW file converted to JPEG. Now, this is cropped heavily. So, since the consumption of my media will be in social media, internet, I won't be printing my output. So, I do not think na cropping too much is a factor because most of the people who will see my photos are people using cellphones. Siguro pinakadako, tablet or laptop. But I do not think panagsalang kaayo ang big screen. So with this one, this is the first picture. 24 megapixel, 24.1, 24. It gives me the image that I want. This is after cropping. You will still have the resolution. Given I would like to have like 40, pero I only have 24, so I have to deal with that. This one, let me again reiterate na all of these pictures are cropped for this purpose sa video to show na 24 megapixel and cropping in sports photography is still a viable choice. So this is heavily cropped and ang images my intentional na grain, I intentionally put grain in it. More of an artistic choice. But as you can see, it gives me the photos that I want. I think this is okay. For the setup, I think this is pretty good. I don't have any problems with the image quality. Dili man sa I don't have any problems, it can surely improve, but I have what I have, so I have to deal with it. May blur ang ball, which is intentional po na ako because I would like to emphasize na may movement. Hands, ball, and the feet are the usual things that naga-blur. This is a standstill. It is he's actually moving pero with 1/500 of the second can freeze this stuff. This one a little bit fast action. Pero as you can see, good. Medyo may blur sa hands and ball. Pero I think this is okay. For a 200D, this is pretty good. All praises to 200D. This one is pretty good also. See, it's able to focus on the face, may details, and with the lens, may background blur, not totally, pero this is good. Again, these are all heavily cropped. You would see still details sa face. The ball, too good for a 200D. This one, yeah, may blur ang ball, usually ang feet, blurry hands, where there is more movement compared to the torso and the face. Here, don't know why it decided to focus on his face and not hers. Pero still, think this is pretty good. You will have details and even after heavy cropping, this is still presentable. Heavily cropped, may detail. Here, may slight deformation sa ball. See, may blur sa feet, which is usual for my shutter speed. This one, blurry. But the point is, you can really use the 200D for sports. Given na capable ang lens, the autofocus really is fast enough to catch ang moving subject. For example, this one, because if I shot this at 1,000 of a second, wala na yung blur sa feet. But Again, this is intentional. I can easily go to 1,000 if I wanted to. But for my style, I would prefer 500, 500, 1/500 of a second. As you can see, the images are actually pretty good. Now, this is on a laptop screen. On a cell phone screen, I think it will be better. With compression, I do not know ba mag-degrade or improve. We'll check sa video if it translates well. This is heavily cropped. You can see still details sa face. My blur sa feet because this is after the keeper has thrown the ball sa other side of the pitch. Detail wise, this is actually pretty nice. Still may blur sa ball, hands, may blur dyan. But the point is you can actually use the 200D for sports. This one, ang focus dun sa likod, I don't understand why it did it. It is supposed to be on his face. Pero as you can see, mas klaro ang face sa likod. The ball has motion blurred, feet. Overall, I think this is very good. This one is also heavily cropped. May slight degradation, but I don't think the focus was this part. I think the focus was on this. You can see the hands are much detailed and the letters. Pero still, pretty good. Heavily cropped again. May blur. Always hands. But usually the faces are in focus. And you can actually see the struggle in maintaining or keeping the ball and taking it away from your opponent. Pretty good. So actually, I don't have any problem with the setup aside from it's too heavy. Yeah. Blurred. So you will have blur sa ball usually. For this one, the face is actually pretty clear. Siyempre, ang feet and hands will be moving as he's running. So you would expect blur from this one. Again, intentional. Usual feet. And I would have preferred to stay in this side of the picture. But para sa ilahang face makita, but unfortunately na ako sa likod. This is what I have, so but I think it's still good also. This one, I think nag-struggle due to focus. It focused more sa this part of the picture. Sure hit. He scored a goal before this, and when he received the ball after the goal kick, he run from this part of the pitch going here, escaping his guard right here. 1v1. He has his grin on his face already. He knows that he's going to get the goal. And eventually he did. Again, heavily cropped, but the detail is there. And again, usual hang hands, ball. This one, this kind of movement will not be possible if this is 1/1000th of a second or higher. So again, intentional, 1/500th of a second. And I would also like to commend the lens because it really catches up really fast. This one, heavily cropped. There is may degradation na ang image because there is too much cropping, but still, it's a good photo. This one, waiting for the goal kick, heavily cropped. Image is good. And yes, I would like to, for those of you wondering, ang color sa Canon is, especially me coming from Fuji colors are really good. And comparing these images from the 200D, this one, do not forget to set your white balance correctly because that is my personal, gina-ensure na ako personally that my white balance is correct from the get-go. Before I start, I have to make sure that the white balance are correct, that the white stays white no matter what, because there are photographers who ignore the white balance. They are really preoccupied on so many things about the camera na ang white balance is dili tama. For the skin tones, these are the colors that they have. So really tan because football players, they stay out in the sun longer than most of us, and you will really see kinsa jud ang light skin, the dark skin. But this is for me making sure that the whites are whites to have a balanced color sa images nimo because you cannot really ignore ang white balance and you have to do it before you start, not after. Murag tinuod. So this usual stuff. So this is the importance of a white balance. So the white stays white, and if you can make the white true, then all other colors will follow. So the red and the blues are good. The greens, diba? Ang ground, skin tone. Kaya nilagom dyan ni siya. Pero hawd ni. So the white is white, skin tones are true to life. So kita nimo ang labas sa Tide o labas sa Brand X nga medyas, reds and unsa ni siya? Purple ba ni siya? Pink. But the point is white balance is very important. This one again ang white. So yes, 200D can be used for sports photography so long as you know what you're doing. You set it properly. Shutter speed sa ko 500 lang. Ang f-stop as wide as I can and as open as I can. And then ISO auto. So basically naka-auto na except for the shutter speed 500 because if dili na ako i-manual na ako ang ISO, I would have different looking pictures sa tibuok session because football starts morning and ends in the afternoon. So kung makalimot ka og set sa imong ISO, then you would have different looking pictures for the whole session. It is one more thing na dili na namin una-una. Let the camera do the work. I-auto ISO na siya. For sports, i-prioritize jud na ako ang shutter speed. So, fix jud akong shutter speed. All else is auto. And white balance, do not forget to zero your white balance. Make sure tama. So, you have colors na I think we have a few more photos, but yeah, this is one of my favorite shots for the day. Again, heavily cropped with the 200D. So there is actually a fight to get the ball, and this one, boy elbow. Okay, so that's it. So if it's possible to use the 200D for sports photography, you be the judge. For me, it's good, provided ang lens is fast ang autofocus. You have good memory card. I found out that it's much better to shoot in RAW with this camera. You shoot in RAW, fix your white balance, and 500th of a second for my shutter speed. That's my setting. And the color profile is neutral. That's it for this video. See you on the next. Thank you.